Well, hello and welcome to my webinar. I am Nicci Willis, and this is Home with Nicci, and that's home ownership made easy. I am a Las Vegas realtor with over 13 years of experience, and I specialize in making the home buying process easy for first-time home buyers. So if you are a first-time home buyer, if you have purchased a home but didn't quite have the best experience, then you are in the right place. I'm here to help. I'm here to be your guide. So if you've got about 45 minutes, I want you to hang with me with this webinar. There's a workbook that goes with it. Hang in there with me, and I'm going to guide you through the home buying process. Here we go. So before we get started, a little bit about me. As I said, I am a realtor and I have over 13 years of experience. I'm a part of a real estate team, and my partner is my husband, H.O.M.E. Willis, who has over 26 years of experience. I know you're doing the math. Don't try to do it. Don't do it. I see you doing it. But we are also proud parents of 3 kids, 2 adult children, 1 teenager, and we have a really cute, sweet, sometimes sour, rescue pup. Her name is Nyla, that we are super proud parents of. At least I am, all right? We have several businesses. One business is the Willis team, where we do all things buying and selling of real estate. We also have a real estate flipping company, so we are investors as well. And we also own a nonprofit called Black Henderson, which serves Black people who live, work, and do business in the city of Henderson. We are also podcasters, so if you haven't checked out our podcast, it's called At Home with the Willises. It's a really cool podcast where we talk all things business, family, faith, entrepreneurship on that podcast, and you can check it out on YouTube. So that's a little bit about me. I was also the former Mrs. Henderson America 2024. So I've done a lot of things, but one of my favorite things is to educate and to teach and to make processes easier for people. Being in real estate, where the process sometimes can seem a little bit convoluted, that's my jam. That's where I come in, and I can help processes become much easier. I can help people get through a process a lot easier and kind of have fun along the way. So if you're ready to join me, if you are ready to understand the home buying process just a little bit better, if you're ready to start your home buying journey, if maybe you have some questions that need answering, I want you to stick with me, and I want you to come along with me as I guide you through this journey. All right, here we go. Right now, I'm going to show you a picture. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you a collage of pictures. I want you to see and visualize just a handful of some of the clients that I've helped to become homeowners. You see the smiles on their faces. You see the relief. You see the keys in hand. I want you to start visualizing that for yourself. I want you to start visualizing what it would feel like to own your own home. I want you to visualize what it would be and feel like to make a payment for your home and it not pay for someone else's mortgage. I want you to imagine what it would feel like to not have a landlord breathing down your neck, telling you what you can and cannot do to your home. I want you to imagine what it feels like to have something that you own that you can build equity in, something that you can leave maybe to your kids or your legacy or build generational wealth with. I have helped countless clients get to where you are envisioning. And my plan is to help start you along the way. Now, with these amazing clients, with all these smiles and all the things, there were some things that came up, some questions, some doubts. And maybe you have the same doubts too. Maybe you have questions about down payment. How do I save for down payment? Maybe you're looking at the news and maybe you're getting mixed messages from the news and media. I was watching the news just the other day, And I'm watching this newscaster, and I know that he's very well off. We'll just put it that way. And he's sitting there, and he's explaining and telling people why they should wait or why they shouldn't buy. And right then and there, it frustrated me because I'm looking at someone who owns tell other people who don't own not to get something he already owns. That doesn't make sense. If you feeling me on that part, go ahead and put it in the comments. Give me a shake my head on that one. Because that doesn't make sense, and that grinds my gears when I hear other people who have tell people who don't have not to get what they already have. Maybe you're confused about what the interest rate is doing. It goes up one week and then it goes back down the next week, and all kinds of questions and doubts. Maybe you don't know what the heck is the debt to income ratio. Well, I tell you what, my clients had those exact same questions, and I helped them through that as well. And I'm here to help you too, because at the end of the day, I want you to be one of these clients. Wherever you are, whether you are moving to Las Vegas, of course, I'm a realtor here in Vegas, but if you are moving anywhere in the nation, I believe that this could be you. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat and try to sell you some pie in the sky idea. The home buying process takes work. It's going to take work from you, but I can help you get there. Now, it does take a mindset shift. From doing this for many, many years, I know the most successful ones that get to become homeowners, it takes a mindset shift, and they've completed that mindset shift so that they can go through the process successfully and become homeowners. So I want you right now to go ahead and start to shift your mindset. This is what we need in order for you to start that home buying process. So what are we gonna do for the next 45 minutes? Well, we are going to discover what it really takes to prepare for homeownership. We're also gonna talk about the mortgage process. We're gonna talk about accessing down payment assistance, and we're gonna, of course, navigate through the home buying process. Lastly, we're gonna help you build your home buying team. All right, let's do this. Now, over the years, I have determined that there are 3 things that you need to purchase a home. Now, usually when I am doing a seminar, I ask, okay, what are the 3 things that you need to purchase a home? You know what I normally get? You need a down payment. Or, well, you definitely need location, right? And yes, all these things are true. Very, very true. But I'm gonna tell you a secret. That's not it. Now, I want you, if it's not those 2, I want you to kind of guess what you think those 3 things are. Go ahead and put it in the comments below. I love reading comments. I love interacting with you guys. So put it in the comments below and let me know what you think the 3 things that you need are to buy a home. Did you guess? All right, I'm gonna show you now. Did you guess your why, your will, and wisdom? You probably didn't. It's fine, it's okay. Because these are the things that you actually need to buy a house. Now, I told you, I'm gonna take you through that home buying process, but we're gonna get the mindset shift first. Trust me, trust the process. I'm gonna help you get there. Here we go. Let's go through each one together. Now, the first thing that you need is your why, okay? If you don't have a why, you automatically are gonna have buyer's remorse. So why do people buy a house? Well, some people buy for stability, for security. Some people buy for the tax benefits. Some people buy because they wanna start creating generational wealth. Some people buy because they wanna just fire their landlord. I get that, trust. Some people buy because they want financial independence. Some people buy because they need something bigger or something smaller. Whatever your why is, that's what I want you to write down right now in your workbook. Go ahead and turn to that page right now and write down what your why is. I'll give you some time to do that. Now that you've written down your why, I want you to know if you don't have one, this is what happens. You're going to have buyer's remorse, and we don't want that, okay? So we want to make sure that you have your why. And we're going to stick to that, and we're going to allow your why to continue to drive you. Now, what do you need next? Well, you need some wisdom. And this one's easy. I help with that. See, it's super easy to align yourself with great professionals that will help you through the process. If you don't, and you decide to do it alone, you can easily get frustrated and confused during the home buying process, and we don't want that. And lastly, your will. If you don't have, you know what? Come closer, just a little closer, okay? I want you to look at me in my eyes. I'm gonna say this. If you don't have your will, you're not gonna make a move. I'm just being honest. I have seen it time and time again that most people's will is broken. And I have to ask, is your will broke? In my workbook right now, I have just a really cool little exercise that kind of goes through the yeses and the nos to find out if your will is broke. This exercise you can use for anything in life, anything that you desire. So why don't you check that out right now and see if your will might be broken. And then come back and we'll keep going. So now that we've got that sweet spot, right? We've got the why, your wisdom, and your will. Now we can get going. So my next question for you is, when do you want to purchase a home? Yeah, we're getting deep here. That's because I want you to make a move. When do you want to purchase a home? I want you to give yourself an actual date of when you want to purchase a home. Now, I want you to be realistic because I'm all about being realistic. You most likely, if you haven't already been pre-approved and ready to go, it's highly unlikely that you're going to purchase in the next week. But think through it. Could it be the next 3 months, the next 6 months? Could it be the next 12 or 18 months? I want you to write that date down, and we're going to work from there. Okay, we've got our why, our wisdom, and our will. We've got our date down. Now it's time to buy a house, but first, let's take you through the mortgage process and getting pre-approved. So the first thing that you're gonna need is a pre-approval letter. You're gonna also need a loan officer, and we're gonna go through that a little bit later. But the best way to find a loan officer is through your realtor. You definitely want to make sure that you ask questions. You are interviewing your loan officer, your realtor, just like you would whenever you make any type of hire. This is gonna be one of the biggest purchases that you make in your life. So you wanna make sure that you are okay and you are ready to go with the professional that you have hired. No worries, I got you. I've got some resources that give you the top 10 questions to ask both your realtor and your loan officer. All you have to do is head over to my website beforeyoubuy.readthis.com. So let's say that you have gone through the process and you have now hired a loan officer. Well, your loan officer is going to be responsible for getting you pre-approved. Here's what you need to know. Here's what you need for a mortgage pre-approval at a glance. You're gonna need your personal identification, your social security card, your pay stubs if you work full-time, bank statements, tax documents, at least 2 years, investment account statements, a list of your monthly debts, your rental information and references, gift letters if you're receiving a gift as part of the purchase for your house, And of course, you're gonna need your credit report. Now, a great loan officer is going to help you get all of this information. What you'll need to do is make sure that you are communicating with that loan officer. Now, I'm gonna tell you, this is a moment where people get funny around money. I don't want you to do that. I want you to lean into this process, be as transparent as you possibly can, and make sure that you give the loan officer everything that they need because they are trying to build your financial story. Now, if you're moving to a metropolitan area and you are getting a mortgage, there are going to be 3 mortgages that we are going to be looking at: FHA, conventional, and if you have served the U.S. in any way, first, thank you for your service, but then there's also a VA loan. I have a super simple guide that will show you all the things that are needed for each of those loans. But I tell you what, your loan officer knows these things frontwards and backwards. And a great loan officer will be able to show you the options so that you can make an informed decision on the mortgage that you need. For more detail on those mortgages, you can head to my website, beforeyoubuy.readthis.com, and click on those resources. Now, you know, I was not gonna have you come all the way over here to this webinar and not talk about credit score. But let's talk about the big 4 on the credit score. The first thing you need to know is if you are going to buy a house or make any kind of purchase, especially with your credit, you cannot be 30 days late on anything. Being 30 days late can plummet your credit score, and we're trying to build it. So make sure you are on time with all of your payments. Second, bankruptcy. If you've had a bankruptcy, then that bankruptcy will have had to been cleared for 2 years. Same with repossessions. If you've had a repossession, then that needs a whole 2 years as well. Student loans. If you have student loans, make sure you are not delinquent. It's super easy to go ahead and call whoever is housing your student loans and make sure that you are in deferment, not delinquent. Those 4 things can truly help your credit score. Now, the other great thing is that a great loan officer can help you. Once they've pulled that credit score and they've seen your entire financial story, maybe it might be a no, but I kind of like to call it a not yet. A great loan officer will help create a game plan that can help you build that financial story so that you are ready to purchase a home. If you're one of those that has received a no or a not yet, I want you to hang in there. I want you to continue to communicate with your loan officer, giving them everything that they need and doing everything that they've built in that game plan so that you can become a homeowner. 18 months, 12 months can go by super fast. So let's get to it. I want to see you do it. So down payment assistance. This is a question that I get asked all the time. So I'll give you a few things here. There are down payment assistance programs out there. The key is finding the ones that work for you. Everything that glitters is not gold. So when you are working with your loan officer, you want to make sure that you have the right information to understand if there are penalties involved, if that down payment assistance is going to be tacked on to your mortgage payment. A lot of these things are hidden, and when you ask and talk to your loan officer, they should be able to explain it for you. But you can get 1% down payment assistance. There's also programs called Home is Possible. There are 2 to 5% down payment assistance FHA loans that are repayable and that are forgivable. If you're in a specific profession like a first responder or a teacher, there are also down payment assistance programs out there for you as well. The thing is, down payment assistance programs come and go. So all you need to do is ask your loan officer, what is out there that can help me? Now, a good loan officer is going to tell you some things that they might have at their disposal. But a great loan officer is going to really do their research and make sure that you have all the options at your disposal. All right, so you have built your financial story, you have gotten everything to your loan officer, and you have officially gotten the pre-approval letter. Congratulations, we are ready to start shopping. So now that I have your pre-approval letter, the next thing we're gonna do is make sure that we sign a buyer's brokerage agreement so that you and I are now in contract and you know that I represent you to everyone. We are also going to sign a duties owed, which gives me fiduciary duties to represent you to all parties. So normally a realtor is gonna say something like, tell me your dream home, or in 50 words or less, describe your dream home. Well, I don't do that. This is what I say. Describe your ideal home. Here's why I do that. It's plain and simple. I don't believe in dream homes. I believe in your ideal home. Dreams can be such a pie in the sky, arbitrary thought. But what I'm trying to do as your realtor is bring everything down to reality so that you can do something and purchase something that's attainable. Your ideal home helps you to think about what you're going to be doing in the next 5 to 10 years. Maybe you're going to be getting married. Maybe you're going to be expanding your family. Maybe you want a lot of pets and furry friends around the house. Maybe you want something smaller because you want to travel a lot. But this is where I want you to think about your ideal home. So let's go to that workbook and let's look at some questions that you can ask. Here are 8 questions that you can ask yourself for your ideal home. Number 1, who's going to be living in this home? Adults, children, and pets included. 2, what are the non-negotiables for your home? Number 3, if you had a lot of non-negotiables, now I want you to pick what your top 5 non-negotiables are. Now, beyond those 5 needs, next, I want you to give me something that you really want. Do you have a preference for the year the house was built? Do you want this house to be move-in condition? Or do you mind maybe a fixer-upper? When people visit your home, what do you want it to say about you? And lastly, are there any specific features that would make this next home feel like home? I've got these questions and a whole lot more in my Ideal Home questionnaire. You can head over to my website, beforeyoubuy.readthis.com, and click on those resources. Go ahead and download that. You're gonna love it. So now that you and I have started shopping, the first thing we're gonna do is zero in on that location, location, location. As your realtor, I'm gonna wanna know what part of the city you wanna live in. Is it close to a certain school or a certain church? What kind of extracurricular activities are you involved in that might help determine where you want to live? Now, as your realtor, I can't steer you one way or the other. So you are gonna have to tell me what part of town you wanna live in. The only thing I can do is show you where those areas are. But location is gonna tell me how serious you are about purchasing a home. Every city has different parts of town that have different characteristics. So if you tell me that you wanna live in one side of town versus the clear other side of town and you're considering both, or maybe you don't care about what part of town you're living in, I'm gonna come back as your realtor and I'm gonna ask you, are you serious about buying a home? Because every city has different parts of it that have different characteristics and that you might fit better in one way or the other. So right now, I want you to write down, what locations are you thinking about? Speaking of location, did you know the Willis team can help you find a realtor anywhere in the nation? Visit our website at thewillisteamlv.com, click on the consultation, and we can help you find a realtor in your city. So how do we find properties? Well, the best way is actually through your realtor. We have access to what's called the multiple listing service. And no, it is not realtor.com and it's not Zillow. The multiple listing service is the platform that all realtors have access to up to the second updated information on all homes that are on the market. I highly recommend that you use your realtor and their search tools and their website to find your home. Some realtors have apps, some realtors will have websites. Whatever tools they use, you'll definitely want to use those. It makes it a lot easier. Once we've built out your criteria, we've put a search together, we are going to build your first tour. Now, I do not recommend going and seeing hundreds of homes in one day. The best that I've seen over the years is probably 5. After 5, it really starts to get a little blurry. But we'll go out and see a few homes. Number one, just to make sure that we're on track. Now, some people find their home immediately. Wonderful, awesome. Sometimes it might take a while, but what I want you to do is to be open to the process and understand that you only need to find your home. So take a deep breath, enjoy the process, and get ready to find your home. All right, let's fast forward and let's say that we have found your ideal home. Now, what are we gonna do next? Well, here we go. We are gonna write an offer. Now, every purchase contract looks different in every state, but the realtor in your state will understand everything that goes through in that contract. There are gonna be disclosures. There are going to be items that you can negotiate. There are going to be home warranties, all kinds of things that you can use that will make your offer look its best. The key here is working with your realtor to make sure that they understand what is most important to you. Is it finding the best deal? Is it the right timing? Is it finding something with the most value? Is it finding something in a prime location? All of these things and more will go into how you present your offer. But once you make that offer, then it's time to put up your earnest money deposit. Now, before you put up your earnest money deposit, we need to figure out where that money comes from. Well, that money is gonna come out of your down payment. Now, I'm sure you have heard the word down payment at some point in time if you're not living under a rock. But your down payment is the portion of the purchase that is not being financed by the mortgage. It could be as low as 3.5%, but sometimes you can see it as high as 20%. For most first-time home buyers, it's gonna be 3.5%. Now, from that down payment comes the earnest money. And once you've gotten your offer accepted, a portion of that down payment becomes earnest money. You will wire that earnest money into the title company or escrow company. Now, the earnest money can actually be whatever amount that you and the seller agree upon, but for the most part, what I've seen is it's usually around 1% of the purchase price. Now, back then, you used to have to write a check and take the check from the bank to the escrow company. You don't have to do that anymore. Thank goodness. In 2024, all it is a wire. The escrow company or title company will send you the wire information and you take that up to your bank and make that happen. Super, super simple. On my website, beforeyoubuy.readthis.com, click on those resources and I have a calculator that will actually help you determine the estimated amounts that you need to save for your down payment, closing costs, and all kinds of other costs. Go check it out. Okay, let's play a little game, shall we? True or false? Your real estate agent can pick your inspector for you. Go ahead. Put it in the comments. Let me see, true or false. This is actually false. Your real estate agent cannot pick your inspector for you. What we can do is send you a list of reputable companies that you can do your own research on and you can hire yourself. Here's why. Can you just imagine? Maybe it's been a dry season for that realtor. And maybe they have the hookup with Joe Schmo, the investor. And maybe that investor has a hammer. They can go around and look at all kinds of things in the house and they can give a super thumbs up for the house that you want. But then you find out it's a lemon and you shouldn't have purchased it in the first place. Yep, it definitely creates a conflict of interest and that is something we do not want. So a realtor cannot pick your inspector for you. You have to do it yourself. But don't worry, we have a list of reputable companies that we send you to help you along. Now, the cost of a whole house inspection usually costs between $300 to $600, depending on what you want to be inspected. This is called the due diligence period, and this always happens right after a contract has been accepted and the calendar starts right then. So this is another opportunity where you have to negotiate within your contract how many days you get for your due diligence period. Sometimes it usually lands between 7 to 10 days. Sometimes it can extend to 14 days, but this is something that the buyer and the seller have to agree upon. Within this due diligence period, you get the whole house inspection and you will get a report. Now, I don't want you to panic here because I know you might do it. Don't panic. You will find things in that report. Here's the key. You can find small things that are wear and tear, but what we don't want are showstoppers. Now, as your realtor, you and I sit down and we agree upon what is a showstopper and what's not. We also have guidelines for FHA and for conventional that we also know are showstoppers. So you should be in good hands, but definitely read through your inspection report, and you should also keep it in case once you do go through and purchase the house, you actually know where everything is, how old it is, what brand it is, all the things. Now, if there is something wrong, then that is a time where you and your realtor will work out if you want to make some credits or some adjustments, or if you want to ask for repairs. Just know, if you ask for repairs, you need to make sure you review those in the final walkthrough. Next up is the appraisal. Now, the appraisal is done by the mortgage company or the bank that is going to be funding your loan. And they need to answer one big question. And that question is this house worth what you are actually gonna pay for it? Now, appraisal usually costs around $500, and this is something that you're gonna have to pay up front, so be prepared. But that mortgage company is going to send someone out to the house. They're also gonna run some comparables to see if the house is worth what you have agreed to pay for it. Now, there are 3 results that you can get whenever an appraisal is done. Let's start with the first one. Let's say the appraisal comes in under value. That means, for example, if you purchase a house and you've agreed to purchase a house for $400,000 and it comes back at $390,000, well, the bank is only going to fund for the house being worth $390,000. That means somebody's got to make up the difference. Well, in this case, you will either go back and renegotiate with the seller, or you might end up canceling the contract. Either way, it is not ideal for a home to come in under value. It does happen in different markets, so it's something that you need to be prepared for, but let's look at the other 2 options. Now, the other result is that your house can come in appraised at value, which is chef's kiss. This is exactly what we want. That means that you have offered exactly what it is valued at. There's nothing else to do here. We just move on. And the third and final result, which is my favorite, The appraisal comes in above value. Now, this is super exciting because not only will you have a home after this, but now you're walking in there with equity. Let's talk about homeowners insurance. This is super simple. You have to have homeowners insurance if you're gonna be a homeowner. A lot of people ask me, well, what homeowners insurance should I get? There are thousands out there. I'm gonna give it to you easily. The easiest way to start your homeowners insurance policy search is to call the people that you already do business with, your car insurance or your renter's insurance. Call them first because they might have some discounts or ways that they can bundle your home and other things. These are just a few examples here, but again, go ahead and call the people that you already do business with first. Now, we've talked about down payment, we've talked about earnest money deposit, and those things you definitely need. We've also talked about inspection and appraisal. We've talked about homeowners insurance, but let's talk about closing costs. Now, closing costs are mortgage closing costs and fees and expenses that happen when you, one, secure the loan for your home, and these costs are generally 3 to 5% of the purchase price of the home. Now, they also include title insurance, escrow company fees. They will include taxes. If you're purchasing a home with an HOA, it's going to include those fees as well. Closing costs are different than your down payment. I want you to be prepared to make sure you have your down payment and that you have enough saved for your closing costs. I have a super simple calculator on my website. Just head over to beforeyoubuy.readthis.com, click on those resources, and you can use that calendar to help you understand how much you need to have saved up. Well, can you believe it? We are actually almost there. We are almost to closing. Now, to put everything into perspective, when we started the home shopping part, that was probably at this point about 3 weeks ago. And we are rounding third and headed home to the closing. But here is what is happening now. Your loan officer right now is working with the underwriter. Now, the underwriter is what I like to call the wizard from the Wizard of Oz. You're never gonna see this person. You're probably never even gonna talk to this person, but they are the people that essentially are gonna give you the final approval for your loan. Your loan officer has been spending all this time making sure that they have built your entire financial story and that they know without a doubt that they are ready to fund your loan. The underwriter gives that final approval. So we are waiting for that. Now, here are some things that I do not want you to do, and your loan officer is going to tell you this as well. At this time, do not open a new credit card. Do not go out and buy a car. Don't do anything with your credit. Do not quit your job. And don't make any sudden moves that might cost you the purchase of this home. Put it this way. If you're thinking about it, go ahead and ask your loan officer about it right now. Now, once we've gotten the final approval from the underwriter, AKA the Wizard of Oz, then we finally get a settlement statement. Now, the settlement statement is going to have all of the debits and credits that you, the buyer, and the seller have agreed upon in the purchase of this home. Everything that you've agreed to pay for this home will be added up, and the price at the bottom is going to be the remaining balance that is owed on the property that you need to wire in to the escrow company. Now, a good realtor is going to make sure that you have the settlement statement, but a great realtor is going to go over the settlement statement with you. You're also probably going to go over the settlement statement with your loan officer as well. So expect to go over this statement at least twice. At this time, we're probably about 3 days from closing on your home. And before we do that, we are going to go back and do a final walkthrough. Now, this is where we get down and dirty. I want to make sure that the home that you entered into a transaction with is the exact same home that we are going to close with. If you requested any repairs, we're definitely going to check those. But we are also going to check every nook and cranny of this home. We're going to turn on and off every light. We're going to open and shut every door. We're going to turn on every eye burner on the stove. That's how detailed we're going to get. We're going to flush every toilet. We're going to turn on every shower and every faucet. We want to make sure that everything works, because once you have closed on this property and it is now in your possession, there are no takebacks. You cannot go back and tell the seller to fix anything. You need to make sure that the home that you entered into an agreement is the same home that you're going to close with. After we've done that final walkthrough, we are ready to close. Now, at the closing, they are going to explain that there are 4 parts of a mortgage. There's your principal, your interest, taxes, and your insurance. I'll say that again. There's your principal, your interest, taxes, and your insurance. The mortgage company will collect this payment as a whole, hold it in escrow, and make sure the taxes are paid. They will make sure the insurance is paid, and of course the principal and interest. Now here's what's not included, and what I want you to know. Your HOA is not included in your mortgage payment. So if you are going to purchase a home with an HOA, make sure you know that your HOA payment is actually separate, and the HOA will contact you or will get with you separately to make sure you set up those payments. So now you are at the closing and everyone is super excited. This is a wonderful, super exciting time. What you'll need to bring are 2 things. Number 1, you need to bring your ID. Number 2, you need to bring me, AKA your realtor. Now, a good realtor will make sure that you are there, but a great realtor is going to be there and make sure you have representation. Even if a realtor is not able to make it physically, they're going to make sure that you have representation. You want someone there that understands the process. You're going to have a lot of documentation to sign. So you want someone there that is going to help you answer questions, help you ask questions, and make sure that everything runs smoothly. Here's a tip too. You're also going to want to make sure that you dress a little nice. Most homeowners like to take pictures during that time. So wear your best, look super cute. This is a perfect time to tell everyone about the great accomplishment that you've made. Now, lastly, let's go over your home buying team so that you know who is on your side throughout this entire process. Number 1 is going to be your loan officer. Now, your loan officer qualifies you for the mortgage. They're the ones that provide the pre-approval letter. They help you find out what you can afford per month. They also are the ones that have the access to down payment assistance programs, and they're going to be the ones that help you make an informed decision about the type of mortgage and the type of down payment assistance that you choose. How do you find a loan officer? Through your realtor, and that's the next person on your home buying team. Now, we are probably the first people that you're going to talk to. We send you to the loan officer, but at the end of the day, once we get that pre-approval letter, we're the ones that help you shop for the home. We also help you write and negotiate your offers until you get an accepted contract. And then we are the conductors of the whole thing. We are the transaction coordinators, and some of us have teams that help you move along the process so that you don't get lost. At the end of the day, your realtor is there to hold your hand and guide you through the home buying process. The next person on your team is your home inspector. Remember, your realtor cannot pick your home inspector for you. We can give you a list of companies that you can do research on and hire yourself, but that home inspector is going to give you a full report of what it looks like in the home that you're trying to purchase. Make sure you keep that report with you and use it as a reference should you complete the task of buying that home. Your home inspector is also going to suggest repairs. Now, remember, we're not looking for wear and tear as a reason to not purchase a house, but what we are looking for are showstoppers. That is something that you and your realtor discuss to make sure that we're all on the same page as far as what a showstopper looks like for you. Believe it or not, your insurance agent is definitely on your team as well. They do one simple thing. They provide the insurance information to the escrow company. So the escrow or title company is the part of the team that helps bring both parties together and move the transaction forward. They collect all the funds and they also distribute all the funds. They check to make sure that the deed is clean, there are no liens on this property, and that it is clear with the county. They are also going to be the ones that actually conduct the closing. Now, there is one more person on this home buying team, and I have to say, they are the most important part of this team. Go ahead and put it in the comments below. Let me know who you think it is. If you guessed you are 100% correct. The most important person on your home buying team is you. We can't do anything without you. So make sure you are communicating with your loan officer. Make sure you're communicating with me, your realtor, or the realtor that you choose. Make sure you are answering emails and sending in documentation. Make sure you show up on time because everything revolves around you. Your home buying team is here to help you and guide you through that home buying process. Again, it's the wisdom that you can't do it alone. But we're here to help and we're here to make it easier. Well, friend, thank you so much for hanging out with me and allowing me to share with you what this home buying process is all about. I hope in this webinar that it made it just a little bit more easier and a little bit more attainable for you to start your home buying journey. Feel free to come back and watch this webinar over and over. You can use your workbook as a guide. You can visit the website, click on the resources, and you can definitely use my book, Before You Buy, Read This. Now, you might have questions. That's great, because I have answers. And I want you to book a consultation with my team. You can head over to thewillisteamlv.com and book a consultation. We would love to help you. Don't forget, we can help you find a realtor anywhere in the nation. So go ahead and book a call with us. Let us know what your desires are, where you're trying to go, where you're trying to live, and we can help get you there. Thanks so much for joining me, friend. If you liked this, make sure you let me know in the comments. I love to hear from you. Let me know how I've helped you. If you have any questions, I'm happy to help there as well. But in the meantime, I want you to take care, and I can't wait to see you as a next homeowner. Take care.